Last summer, I turned 18. The sun was out, the Euros were on, and I had a holiday booked for Greece. All this culminated in the perfect formula for me becoming a big fatty, due to booze, kebabs, and more booze. So, when I got back from Greece, something had to change. Now, being a straight white man, standing at a colossal 5'6", weighing 147 pounds or 66.7 kilos, my default stats were looking quite rough. And that's when I remembered watching a YouTube video called the 75 Hard Challenge. So, what is 75 Hard? Well, it's a challenge completed over 75 days, obviously, with 5 basic tasks that needed to be completed every single day. Drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages of a self-help book, take a progress picture, stick to a diet, and the biggie, complete 2 workouts, 45 minutes or longer, one of which having to be outside. So, how did I go about completing these challenges? The workouts. The basic plan was to do chest, back, arms and legs on rotation in the gym every single day. And for the outside workouts, it was running, but to begin with, it was running and walking because, as I say, I was a bit of a fat bastard, so I couldn't run every single day. When it came to dieting, I chose the Atkins diet, as it had the least things that I had to remove from my everyday diet, so it made the transition easier. Because outside of pasta and rice, I didn't really have to change too much, apart from removing all the toffees and chocolate and nice stuff that I'd want to eat. But it didn't come without its own issues. The issues I found with the Atkins diet were outside of my farts absolutely reeking. During that first week, I got keto flu due to a massive crash in carbohydrates. And for the first few weeks, I was riddled with constipation. Now, the first month had its highs and lows, as week 2 was far easier than week 1, as I had gotten over my cold and felt like I had a routine that I could build on week through week. However, week 3 was heartbreaking, as I had Sunday dinner and I had to give away Yorkshires and roasties. On top of that, towards the back end of week 3, I felt extremely fatigued, weak and exhausted. I felt like Pedri from that one year where Barca and Spain made him play every single game. However, week 4 was much, much better, as my weight was going down, my running was increasing, and my recovery was so much better, and I felt like I had a lot more energy. Month 2 was much like the previous month, as it had its highs and lows. In week 5, I had lost enough weight as to I could start introducing brown rice and pasta. And as sad as it sounds, I was absolutely buzzing with that information. However, week 6 is where it went a bit downhill, as I had bruised my ankle playing football. So, instead of running, my cardio transitioned into 45 minutes of hobbling around outside in the freezing cold. Safe to say, I was absolutely fuming. As for week 7, well, I didn't get off to a great start, as it was the first week in which I'd put on weight due to my inability to complete much cardio. However, towards the back end of week 7 is when things got good, as I had travelled up to Scotland to complete some side quests. Now, week 8 is when it got really good, as those side quests I was on about were able to get completed, as I forgot to set my spawn point and ended up at the top of Ben Nevis to start week 8. Now, safe to say, it was one of the greatest things I've ever done with my life, and the sense of achievement was incredible. Apart from the fact I could not feel my hands coming down as it was pitch black and I felt like I was going to slip on ice every 5 seconds. As for the other 3 challenges involved throughout the days, I found 2 out of the 3 really easy, as taking a picture and mindlessly drinking a lot of water aren't that hard to do. However, reading was difficult, as I didn't enjoy reading going into the challenge, and it felt like a real slog every single day to complete. However, which books did I pick out in the end? I picked out both of David Goggins' books, his self-help books. And I use those quotation marks as he doesn't describe them as such, but they really are. And why did I decide to pick them? Well, much like a rookie Johnny Sins, I needed to realise how to stay hard. Coming into the home stretch, I needed to lock in. And in week 9, that's exactly what I did. I was in the gym every single day. I restricted my calories to 1500. And I was running as much as I could every single day. I felt really, really accomplished by the end of this week. Now, week 10 was a bit rough, as I'd felt more fatigued than I had in a very long while, and my cravings were really starting to talk to me. I'd walk past Domino's, and all I could smell was an absolutely beautiful, greasy pizza, and it made me want it more than ever. But I did not cave, and I think there was a beauty in that. As for that final week, fatigue didn't really carry over, and I was counting down the days until the challenge could be done. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I was really looking forward to having some really tasty food. As for the final day, I was feeling really accomplished and just had to stay locked in. I already had a plan set out for the gym, and that plan is exactly what I stuck to. I hit chest, back, arms and legs to see myself through to finish the challenge. With a game of football that evening, that day was perfect. So, what were my end game stats? Well, not much had actually changed, as I was still straight, I was still white, and I was still a man, and I was still 5'6". However, weight-wise, I had a huge transition. I was able to lose a lot of weight and ended up in the best physical shape I'd ever been in. And in some lighting, you could even see my abs. The total weight I lost during this challenge was 19 pounds. So I was no longer a fat bastard, I was just a skinny bitch. But I was absolutely over the moon with how my physique looked. As for my final review of this challenge, it is exactly what it says on the tin. It is hard, it is difficult, and the amount of fatigue you accrue by hitting the gym every single day and running every single day does take a bit of a toll on your body. But I would recommend it to anybody looking to completely overhaul the body this year and change themselves for the better. The amount of stride you take mentally and physically is incredible, and I would do it again 100%.